Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist. I own 52 units of real estate and I help coach people to buy their first multifamily deal. So today I want to talk about shiny object syndrome again. And for those of you who are new to this concept, it's basically someone who is very unfocused and doing a lot of different things. And while it may seem impressive to somebody who's not doing much or not doing anything, as you've gone down the wealth building journey, as you've gone down the entrepreneurship journey, you start to realize that shiny object syndrome is actually a crutch and it holds you back. So I just met a real estate investor who, I met through a forum and wanted to connect. And, obviously I post a lot of content. So a lot of people want to reach out to me. So this guy reached out to me, and why I wanted to talk to him was because he flips about, 50 to 60 homes per year and was basically able to do that since 2012 to present day, and was able to basically leave a nice W-2 job. So I really wanted to connect to him about how he started flipping real estate, and because obviously the perks of flipping is that you get fast cash or faster cash, so you get money in your wallet. It's not as tax efficient. You're going to pay ordinary income tax on that, and then it's not a long-term way to build wealth. Like the long-term way of building wealth is by owning the real estate, but if you want to quit your job fast, you need quick money. So that's going to be flipping real estate. That's going to be wholesaling real estate and not really buy and holding for the long term, which is what I mostly am. And it requires patience. So for me, I always considered about flipping real estate because, obviously I have a team in Oklahoma. I have a team in Alabama, and I could do it, but I kind of know and I'm aware of something called shiny object syndrome, where I don't want to take my eye off the ball. For me, my main focus, my main goal is to build wealth through buy and hold real estate. And I will only sell real estate if I'm doing a 1031 exchange into a bigger property to get more cash flow, or if I'm selling a property, use that money to go pay off another property that has, debt, right? So I always kind of thought, well, if I flip real estate, I could just take that money and use it to pay off houses faster, potentially, assuming that you actually make money. But anyways, this guy, he basically flips about 50, 60 homes a year in one market. And basically saying, oh yeah, I'm starting a bunch of new things. And I felt like me, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, would have been really impressed by this. But me, after going through shiny object syndrome and losing money because of it, have the reverse opinion of it. So, he wanted to tell me that he flips homes, right? 50, 60 homes a year, which is probably his main source of money. If you make on average 10K per home on a flip, that's about, 500K in, active ordinary income, right? So it's going to be in a higher tax bracket unless you're a real estate professional status, in which case you can offset some of that with, bonus depreciation or kick the can down the road, essentially. So he said that he flips 50, 60 homes a year, which I knew is his main source of income. And he said, oh, I also am a realtor. And I said, okay, he's like, I'm a realtor only to sell my own flips. So basically he's trying to save money on the flips by not having to pay commission. So he sells the homes himself. So I said, okay, that's aligned in my mind, right? And, occasionally he's like, oh, for friends and family, I may just sell their home for them. But, it's mostly to save commission on my flips. So, okay. And then the next thing he added on was, oh, I'm actually starting a property management business. And was just if you buy a deal from me, I'll give you a discount on my commission if I manage your property for you. And I was kind of I was like, well, what experience do you have? And he was just like, well, I shadowed a bunch of people. I learned fast. I learned quick. And basically that's the fastest answer to, I have no experience in it, but I'm willing to learn. But I'm just like, well, I have a pretty experienced property manager already who's been doing great for me, and I don't want to talk to two different people. It doesn't make sense for me to scale. And he's like, oh, that's totally fine. And then he wanted to say, oh, well, actually I started this real estate investing association. So now you're adding another thing, right? And then he's like, oh, actually I'm starting to want to do general contracting as well. So, like I said, at first I would be impressed, but now I'm like, oh, your attention is diluted because I already know at a high level your main source of income is flipping real estate. You're making probably $500,000 a year from this. And probably what happened was after doing it for 10 years plus, you got bored. So now you decide to throw in other things like property management, which you're a beginner at. You're starting real estate investing association, which you're a beginner at. Maybe you're trying to raise money at a larger scale. And you want to be a general contractor, which, maybe there's some experience there because you flip a lot of homes, but running the business is different, right? So in my mind, my first thought was, if I was really close to this guy and like he was like one of my best friends, I would just say, hey, how about you not do property management? You don't do general contracting. You don't do this real estate investing association, and double down on your flips, which you're making money on. You have systems in place, and maybe we can double your money easier compared to like starting something new. And to me, I'm speaking from experience. Like, I bought a mobile home park when I had 2 apartments. And had I just took that money and bought a 3rd apartment, I'd probably be in a lot better of a situation today because it'd be the same amount of work, right? I had 90 units at one point, but I bought a mobile home park. I had to sell my mobile home park for a loss. Now I'm back to like 52 units. But had I bought another apartment, I'd own more units. I would have locked in a great interest rate at the time because at the time I was buying, like 4%. And it would have been scalable because I would have used the same team to renovate and manage that property. So I'd be in a lot better financial position today had I not had shiny object syndrome. So that was the key message. Like I said, it's easy to some beginner real estate investor to see that and be like, that's super impressive, right? That's super impressive. But I know, like, okay, out of all 4 of those things, what's he the best at? Flipping real estate. He's been doing that for 10 years. That's his bread and butter. Property management, he's probably gonna be weak at it because he's focusing time on his flipping business. General contracting, probably gonna be weaker at it. Obviously, when you flip a lot of real estate, you do a lot of renovations, but coordinating is different. And number 4 is real estate investing association. Like, you don't have experience with that. So like, yes, it's all real estate related, but even then, like, you could be like really great at one thing and okay at everything else. And if you look at most like entrepreneurs who have multiple businesses, only like 1 or 2 businesses produce 80% of their income. Like, if I'm being honest, like, so like in that situation, he technically has like 4 businesses, and I guarantee you, the one that makes all the money, 95% of the money, is the fix and flip business. The other 3 probably don't make that much money at all, if at all, right? And if anything, it's diluting his attention from the one thing that does make him money, right? So, like I said, I always thought about flipping because I'm like, oh, I know how to like buy properties off market. I know how to like renovate it. But for me, my focus has always been, I just want to like own real estate long term because I've seen so many flippers burn out, wholesalers burn out, and yes, they make a lot of money, but it's another job, right? Like, if your money doesn't work for you, it's another job. So that's why I said it's fine to get started with fix and flipping and wholesaling, but like, make sure you keep a few for yourself, right? Like, if you were to like flip 50 a year, maybe keep 10, right? So now you're selling 40 and you're keeping the best 10 in the best areas of the best rental rates, where you can do the BRRRR method, right? So like, at that point, you're not always forced to work. And then once you own 10 properties, you can continue to fix and flip and then use that money to pay off those 10 properties. So that's the key thing, is I know a lot of fix and flippers, they just flip, but like, they don't own any real estate. And like realtors who just sell, they own 0 real estate. And eventually you're going to burn out, or eventually, like right now, it's a shitty time to be a realtor. It's a shitty time to be a mortgage lender. Like, realtors keep on calling me, even the ones I worked with like 5-6 years ago, because I can tell they're desperate. They're getting desperate. And honestly, like 5% of the realtors get most of the business anyways, like 95% of the business. So like I said, you want to not dilute your attention. And like I said, I'm speaking from experience. I lost $200,000 because of shiny object syndrome, like speaking from here. And it distracted me from my main money making, which was what's built me the most wealth is buy and hold real estate in California, Alabama, and Oklahoma. And even that's a little too much, right? Like, now I'm dwindling it down where I just want to buy in Alabama and Oklahoma because it's a more cash flow market. Like, I don't really want to buy in California anymore because it's let's accept the house I'm living in, because it's just so expensive and it's hard to cash flow here. So, unless I'm like willing to put a large down payment, which I'm not at the point of yet, it's just not worth it for me to continue buying California. So I'm even willing down to like Oklahoma, and then Alabama, and then apartments in Oklahoma, and single family new construction in Alabama, and just being focused in on that. So, like I said, why I want to share this is because like I used to be so impressed like when people said, "Oh my God, I own one single family home in California that's a short-term rental. I own one that's 30 minutes away that's a midterm rental. I own two in the Smoky Mountains, which is a short-term rental. Oh, I fix and flip on the side. Oh, I do some coaching. Oh, I do this." And I used to be so impressed by that, right? Oh, I'm a general partner of a syndication. I used to be so impressed by that. Like, you see all these people on forums, but I know, like, most of those people, like, they're not even worth that much money, right? Like, it's the people who do like one or two things, but do it very well for a long time, and it sounds boring. They're the richest people, right? And I know, because I seen these people, right? Like, oh, I own one, short-term rental here. I'm like, dude, that sounds terrible. Like, I would not want that portfolio because it sounds like a headache, right? And even people look at my portfolio, like I own so many single families in California that's so spread apart, right? I own some in NorCal, I own some in SoCal, and I know that. So that's why when it's time for me to retire, I'm probably gonna sell two of my properties and in California, use that to pay off debt, of my primary residence and maybe one of my apartments or both my apartments. Simplify my portfolio so that it's scalable and it's easier to manage, right? So that's kind of the key point, is you want to make sure that this is what happens. And like I said, you see in the podcast, this guy's like, oh, I own like 80 businesses. I'm like, on average, most businesses make $1 million of top line gross revenue. And let's just say you have a 30% profit margin. That's $300K per business, which is a lot. I mean, times that by 80, obviously it could, add up quite a bit there. But like, just know that like most businesses, at most gross 1 million a year. So if you have like 6, 7, 8, yeah, I mean, it's a good life, but like, it's not scalable and sustainable. Like, you can put all your energy and effort into like one thing and then do it. And that's why I know for me, like, yes, I'm doing like coaching, right, and mentorship, but I know that it may or may not last forever. And whatever money I do make from it, if I make anything, is I'm just going to use that to like fund my real estate and then to like pay off my real estate. So that's really kind of the goal, right? So like I said, just wanted to touch on shiny object syndrome, and don't be like jealous or envious of the person who's doing like 10,000 different things, because oftentimes, most of them are not doing that great. And like, even for me, like right now, my main source of income is my W-2 job for the longest time. Like real estate, rental income, finally caught up to my W-2, but my W-2 is more stable compared to my rental income, because that goes up and down depending on, if tenants pay, if there's vacancy, if there's non-vacancy. So anyways, just wanted to do this video to remind you that just stay focused on one thing and don't let shiny object syndrome get in the way of you building wealth. So anyways, if you want to learn to buy multifamily real estate, some guidance, some coaching, click on my link tree down below. From there, you can see a link to all that, and you can send me an email as well from the link tree. Otherwise, please like, comment, subscribe. Hope to see you next one. Thank you so much.